if your words say one thing, but the body says something else, it's the nonverbal that from a primitive standpoint that we believe. So our body language is important. So whatever you think about, you'll speak about it, and it comes about also in your language.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Elizabeth Gore. Welcome to The Big Idea from Yahoo Finance, the show that navigates the world of small business and entrepreneurship. All businesses start with one light bulb moment, and I'm going to take you on a journey with America's entrepreneurs. As the co-founder of the small business funding platform, Hello Alice, it has always been my mission to help ensure entrepreneurs have the tools they need to live the American dream. We're going to get between the spreadsheets with these operators to flow from their smallest failures to their biggest successes. So let's cowboy up. Today's big idea question is, how can I use body language to communicate better in business? Our industry focus is sales. Joining me today to talk about this is Linda Clemons. Linda is an award-winning sales producer, top global body language expert, author, and the CEO of Sisterpreneur Inc. Her clients include brands like Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Google, Wells Fargo, and even members of the CIA and FBI. There is no one better to help answer the question, how can I use body language to communicate better in business? Let's talk to Linda. Miss Linda, I am so grateful that you're here.
Elizabeth, I'm so excited just to be here with you.
The reason I was obsessed with you coming on The Big Idea is that I think every small business owner can learn from you, not just your inspirational stories, but your tips.
Absolutely.
Like, why is body language so important?
Let me tell you, the reason why body language is so important, it's our first language before we're able to utter a word. You know, as babies, we make sounds, we cry, but it is our first language. It sends a message before you even say a word. So how many times you could be sitting in a meeting or in a room or just with your girlfriends, guy friends, and someone walks in and you're thinking the same thing and you look at each other. You didn't say anything. And your body language begins to send messages like facial expressions. Women do it quite often, like, those kind of things. So it's so critical. Why is it critical? Because it's unconscious, if you will, non-conscious. We could do things deliberately.
Right.
Absolutely. It says, okay, I'm going to walk in this room and I'm going to do this interview and I'm going to make sure it's the best. But if there is an external stimuli, like I can hear a noise, and it can make me like, oh my gosh, what is that? It can impact the way I deliver my presentation. So your nonverbal is very critical. There is a quote by Emerson, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and I'm going to Clementize it.
Clementize it. Let's go. I love that. I'm going to get you a t-shirt to say,
Clementize it. But it goes like this: I cannot hear what you're saying because who you are being is getting in the way.
Ooh, that's good.
You know, and everyone probably have heard the phrase, action speaks louder than words.
Absolutely.
And if my late granny was alive, she'd say, honey, I hear you talking, but I don't see you walking.
Ooh.
So if your words say one thing, but the body says something else, it's the nonverbal that from a primitive standpoint that we believe. So our body language is important. So whatever you think about, you'll speak about it, and it comes about also in your language.
You've taught everyone from CIA, FBI, Wells Fargo executives, Coca-Cola execs. What is the body language that you've seen that successful CEOs have in common?
Number one, great posture. Great posture when they're presenting. Number two, when they are around people, they are open and available. And those are the great CEOs. For great posture, because when you look at someone's posture, you're going to be able to question, are they okay? Are they sick, not feeling well? Are there disabilities, invisible disabilities? We create narratives. But those that are confident, they walk with power and presence and stand with power and presence when they're in a room.
So, Ms. Linda, what is the most common mistake you see in body language with entrepreneurs?
One of the biggest mistakes that they make is not realizing that the person that they're engaging with the very first time doesn't know their baseline. So, for example, I have a friend all the time when you talk to them about a problem, they fold their arms. That's their norm. They're folding their arms because they're thinking about it. They're trying to work it out. But if you meet them for the very first time, you're thinking, oh my gosh, the person is closed off. So folded arms, when it's your norm and the other person doesn't know it, is the biggest issue that I see with lots of times with entrepreneurs. It's habits that they have that new people or other people don't know about.
Oh, interesting. If I'm a small business owner and I walk up and I'm like, Linda, am I important enough to use your skills in my store? What's your answer to that?
Let me tell you why it's so important for entrepreneurs, because when you birth that business, now you own that business. So when you own that business, you own it mentally, physically, to the point that you could be overprotective. So if you're an entrepreneur and you want to have diversity of thought and creativity, it doesn't just start with your words. It starts with your actions by allowing others to come in. So why is that important? So say, for example, I'm one of 10 of your employees, and then I come up with an idea. And the moment that I walk into the office and say, hey, Elizabeth, I've got an idea for the next quarter on our project, and it's only going to cost this amount of money. So let's say budget is tight, and automatically the moment that you hear money, you may fold your arms. Or all of a sudden bring your arms off the table and maybe, put it against your wallet or purse. Start pulling your hair out. But you close a power zone. Okay. Oh, wow, she's closed off to the idea before I even said a word. And the reason why, as entrepreneurs, so important, it's not just about your body language. It also helps your emotional intelligence in reading the nonverbal cues of your customers and clients that walk in the door. Are you open when they walk in? Or is it close to closing time and you give them that look with the face like, right. Yeah, how can I help you? And they're the customer. So it's very critical. Don't think it's just for big companies. It starts with you, because every major company started where you started.
What would I tell, I was just in one of my favorite bakeries, and they've got 3 folks, and one of the things I love about the bakery is they come around the counter. But what would I tell I only have 3 employees, and they're interfacing with the customer every day. Like, what do I want them? How do I want them to appear?
How you want them to appear, number one, you want to make sure that their power zones are open. And when I say power zones, the throat area, the heart area, the belly button area. So when I say the heart area, who welcomes a customer into the door? Welcome to Shasha La Vie Bakery. No, welcome. You're open with the facial expressions, open with your body language. So think about this. Open eye for the eye contact, leaning in. I'm welcome to our bakery. And beaming. Beaming is that inner light that you have in you. It's that inner fire that's in me where you're just excited. Just like you tell a child if they're going to go see Mickey, yes, the expression comes out. It lets that customer know that they are the most important individual at that time, at that moment in your store. And if every entrepreneur teach their employees to have a little piece of ownership, as if they are the owners. And it changes with the language as well. It's not they anymore. It's this is our bakery.
It's like literally your body's opening a door.
Yes, it is opening the door. And it's the door to your heart.
What do you not do?
What do I not do? What do you not do?
What do you tell your employees? Hey, don't do this.
Whatever the mood is that you're coming in, you wake up that morning, and everyone, we're human, right? You could wake up, the coffee's cold, the tire is flat. You found out the dog needs braces, whatever. You could start off with a bad day. Don't bring it in, because those emotions transfer over to other people. Emotion and motion is transferable. So if you can leave it behind, it can change your attitude. So start thinking about something positive. Think about the outcome. As a matter of fact, think about everyone that walks in that door, that their lives are going to be better when they leave their place. It'll change the way you look at things. So if they can think about that for the moment and what it does for them, it changes their attitude. It's so critical. I used to have one of my mentors that would say, look, you need to make sure that your head's in the game. And my granny used to say, honey, your mind needs to be wherever your behind is. And it always needs to be in one place. Means focus and excited about what's taking place.
Your mind has to be where your behind is.
So if I'm going
to say that
you're
all
gonna say
the time now.
Behind needs to be where your mind is. So in other words, if I'm here and I'm ready to play and I'm ready to win, my mind and body should be in one place, not on the other side of town. Or what's going on.
I think what a lot of people see you as this great expert, which you are, but they don't know you were one of the top salespeople on the planet.
Yes.
And it started, you and I's generation, we sold those candy bars, and I think you blew it out of the water in your community. So you were an exceptional salesperson. And so that experience that you had and now teaching about sales and in negotiation, which is basically, I think, the same thing. What are your top couple of tips when you're walking into a sale?
Oh, okay. That's a great question. What's important is the easiest lesson that I want to give everyone that's watching and listening. Know everything about your product. Everything. that you eat, drink, and sleep it. You know everything. And the second part, know everything about your customer who you're serving. When those two marry, oh my goodness, you're the right answer. So in selling, so many people forget. They make it a one-way process. Oh, I got to sell this cookie. I got to sell this gadget. I got to sell this computer so I can get a commission. No, I'm serving and selling so that I can fulfill a need or be the answer to a problem. When you go into selling, this is what made me successful, not just selling candy. In every industry that I worked in, I've always been in sales. Number one in my industry, in the resort industry, because I went in, Elizabeth, looking for problems that had my name on it. And when you're looking for problems and you are the one that can solve that problem, that's the thing that takes you ahead of everyone else in your industry.
Very uniquely, you keep saying problems, not solutions. And we just had Yuri on the show, who is the founder of Waze.
Yes.
And he is absolutely obsessed with problems. And he said he'll spend if there's a problem and he has an hour, he's going to spend 55 minutes on the problem and 5 minutes on the solution. So I think that's really interesting that is the mindset, that you're not just jumping to the result.
Well, everyone's got a solution to something. Right? But if you are the problem solver, like if you're in a room full of people, and guess what? If you have a headache and no one has the solution for that, oh, you can lay down. Oh, just take a break. If someone says, hey, there's a sale on aspirin, I've got an extra bottle, that person was able to solve your problem. So it's so critical to be able to identify that. One of the things that helped me when I go out and I work with my corporate clients, I go in the door not just to do the sales training, not just to do the silent language of leaders, talking about body language, how as leaders we could better communicate. I go in and I look for problems, every individual, every department that touches the customer.
Really?
So think about this. If I'm going into a company and my first impression of your company as an entrepreneur is the receptionist, and if the receptionist is having a bad day, that can skew the way I think about the company. Oh, I don't want to do business with this company because of one person's attitude. So I call it walking the critical path. Every path, every step that leads to your customer's experience. When you master that, oh,
suddenly,
honey,
you're selling. Oh, I love
you're
it.
Selling, you're serving.
So, Sisterpreneur,
yes.
Tell us what's coming around the pike.
So we just did a wonderful conference that empowers women entrepreneurs to embrace their power in 3 areas: health, self, and wealth. If you don't have your health, you can't have anything else.
I know that. Oh,
so it's so critical as entrepreneurs to be able to do that. Now, our biggest focus is not only helping women build their business, but help them give back to their communities, to the nation, and perhaps to the world through philanthropy, or adopting organizations, or bringing other women up. When you do that, that keeps the cycle going and keeps it strong. So we encourage entrepreneurs to do that.
And how do folks, I mean, we can't all come to your conference, but how do we learn and connect with you?
Absolutely. You can go through my website. It's my namesake, lindaclemons.com. Follow me. My niece would say, Auntie, you got to tell them, follow you on the Instagram. And all the social media, and of course, LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. We all need to keep learning, Miss Linda, and you have a book coming out. Tell us about it.
Yes, I do. And thank you. The title of the book is Hush, How to Radiate Confidence and Power Without Saying a Word.
Hush.
Yes, hush.
I love it.
And it comes out January the 6th. And right now you can pre-order it on Amazon. Just go to Hush, Linda Clemons.
All right, Miss Linda, hold that thought. We got to take a quick break and we'll be back on The Big Idea. Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to The Big Idea. I'm Elizabeth Gore here with Linda Clemons.
Yes.
So I think one of the questions that we're going to have the comments immediately is, what about this virtual world we're all in? We're all on Zoom. We are, looking at screens. Tell us about that evolution, and do your tips change
Absolutely.
in that environment?
The way you do the virtual presentations, you can rock and do virtual like a rock star. You can, but you have to remember your lighting, just like the lighting is wonderful here. You have to make sure that you are ready. You can't get up and do a presentation and expect to sell a client. Let's say you do a negotiation and you have a big deal. My granny would say, honey, you can't sell $1 million deal if you look like $1.99. So you've got to be ready, and the way you sit makes a difference. If you watch journalists, the desk is at the level of the belly button.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of organs there, and we're very vulnerable. And being authentic comes from that space. If half of your body language is gone, you could look like a head on the plate.
Right.
When you're doing virtual presentations, it's very important to use your hands with purpose, to emphasize, to punctuate, and making sure that the palms are exposed. So let's say you're in the financial industry, okay, and you're talking about big deals and you're not showing the palms. People who are being deceptive, it's very difficult to expose the palms when they're speaking about money.
Wow.
So it's being aware of those things that's critical. So my hands are on deck, and you say, now, Linda, is this the absolutely best deal that you can give me? And if I'm thinking, no, it's not, it's the end of the month and I need to get another sale, here's what's going to take place unconsciously. My hands will come off the table.
Oh.
So just being aware of that virtually.
Right.
Now, a lot of my friends, they hate doing the virtual presentations. And the reason why, what they say is I can't feel the energy. But remember, when you're doing a virtual presentation, you have the opportunity to impact millions of people.
Right.
Because it's just, you could be one to many. And then you can do your presentation. You don't have to do it sitting down. Change it up a little bit. Stand up and walk right into the screen. It's so good to see you, Elizabeth. Walk right as if you're walking into their office. You know, there's a book by a friend of mine called Scott McCain called All Business is Show Business. So everything you do, give it 100%, give it your best, because you never know who's watching you.
Absolutely. And then let's talk about the other side of the table.
Yes.
So I'm interviewing a new employee or a business partner or a potential manufacturer. What am I looking for in their body language? What should I be thinking about?
One of the things you want to be aware of is that when you're interviewing or you're negotiating, you want to build and establish rapport. Reason why that's important, when they are comfortable, they're more relaxed. It's called the baseline. So once they're comfortable, you find out where their base is. So let's say you said something to them, okay, have you ever, anyone in your company ever done anything unethical? And all of a sudden they change from their base. Why would you ask me that? That sends signals to you. It's called nonverbal cues that will help you reveal what their next move would be. So being aware of who they are under their normal circumstance without any stress, build that rapport will be the first thing. Just don't jump into business. Don't jump into the negotiation, Elizabeth. Don't do that. Build a rapport so that they're comfortable. And how do you know? Their shoulders. Watch, my shoulders are a little rigid right now.
Right.
Like, okay, what is Elizabeth's going to ask me now? Then all of a sudden you say, Linda, I really like that blue. Thank you. Notice this.
Yeah, you kind of relax. Okay.
Relax. Because now it's a surrender of tails, if you will.
Right.
And it allows them to be comfortable and now have a conversation rather than an interrogation.
Right. And if they, what am I looking for if they are lying or fibbing, as my grandma would say? Like, what am I?
Oh, that's good. That's
yeah.
good.
What
so
do I
one
see?
Of the, oh, this is so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You're a good interviewer, girlfriend. You're good. Okay. One of the things that I want everybody to think about this: when a person is being deceptive,
Right.
okay, they are creating the story out of their imagination. Okay. So they're good. So often sometimes they'll be still in their movements because they're thinking about it as they go along. For someone who is being truthful, they're using recall. Well, Elizabeth, this is what happened. I think it was like 2:00 yesterday.
Okay.
So watch the facial expressions, the words, and their tone. Facial expression, words, tone, and they're nonverbal. So if they're nonverbal and the tone and the words are not congruent, that sends you your first signal.
Okay.
So if all three don't agree, then there's a disconnect in the message
Something's
between
going
you and
on.
me. Something's not right.
Right. Or there's just a lack of confidence.
Yes.
Or
And a lack of confidence, they'll start readjusting. But someone who is being deceptive or not telling the truth or withholding information or making it up, they have to think about it. So it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a little secret. They never practice the gestures.
oh, interesting.
They never practice okay, so she's going to ask me this question. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No.
Wow.
Right. Because it comes naturally You're like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. No one goes like this. I didn't do it.
Yeah. I didn't do it.
Right.
All right, Miss Linda, we talk about dirty unicorns, folks' biggest mistakes in business. Tell me one that you've learned from.
Oh my goodness. One of many, right? Okay. I'm going to tell you one is you can't want something more for someone else than they want for themselves. There have been a lot of friends and family members that I wanted to include in the entrepreneurial journey. But if it's not their path, we have to allow people to be who they are destined to be. And sometimes you want something better for someone else. That means you may hire someone and they take the job because they believe in you and you believe in them. But they don't believe that they can do it. And they hang on to the position. And sometimes you've got to let them go. So that's been one of the most difficult because I think in addition to the expertise that I have, there are a couple of spiritual gifts that sometimes I can see beyond where they are able to see.
Right.
But if they're not there, you've got to love and release them.
Love and release. Oh, what a good lesson. Out of all these amazing tips, if you could pick just one for small business owners, what would it be?
Number one, if you can think it, you could ink it. What does that mean? You could put it on paper. You could put it in person. If you think of a dream and a vision and of who you are and what you're destined to be, then you think about it, you talk about it, and you walk it. So your thoughts, your talk, and your walk show who you are. So just do it.
Just think it. Well, Linda, you are such a blessing. I feel like we could go all day long with all these questions. And I just want to encourage every small business owner listening to go to your website, learn these resources.
Yes.
And I love that they can be personal or professional, your personal life, because listen, entrepreneurs are terrible at dating. So I just want to thank you for all your blessings and coming on the show and teaching us everything.
Thank you so much.
At the end of each episode, I like to give a shout out to a small business who is doing amazing work. So today, I'd like to shout out one of Linda's favorites, Clean Design Home. Created by Robin Wilson, Clean Design Home sells non-toxic bedding, bath, and home goods. Check them out at cleandesignhome.com. Thank you to Linda for coming on our show, and thank all of you for joining us. We hope you've learned a lot. This has been The Big Idea from Yahoo Finance. Please make sure to scan the QR code below to follow Yahoo Finance podcast, or check us out at The Big Idea wherever you get your podcasts. You can also come say howdy to me at any of my social channels at Elizabeth Gore USA. I'm Elizabeth Gore, and as my grandmother always used to say, hold your head up high and give them hell. See you next time.
This content was not intended to be financial advice and should not be used as a substitute for professional financial services.